Hello and welcome to Grapple Games TV. This is Josh Fozzard, and we've got a special edition Born of the Gods Game Day tournament for you. And we had 32 people, so we had 5 rounds of Swiss, followed by a top 8 cut. So single elimination, and through that, Derek and Brandon made it to the top. Derek is running a Esper controlled deck, and Brandon is playing his brutal red deck wins. So Derek leads off playing a Hallowed Fountain tapped, and Brandon lays down the Rakdos Cackler and unleashes it. Derek follows up with the Mutavault and passes the turn. And Brandon swings in with the Cackler, dealing 2 damage to Derek, bringing him down to 18. Brandon follows up the main phase 2 with a Burning Tree Emissary. Gives him 2 floating mana, which he plays another Burning Tree Emissary. And this is where the red deck gets really explosive. Followed up with a Fire Fist Striker, who, when attacks with 2 other creatures, makes it so another creature can't block. So Brandon now has 8 power on board, but unfortunately the Burning Trees are taken out by a Detention Sphere by Derek. Alright, Brandon taps 2 for a Ash Zealot, comes in with haste and first strike, then swings in for 6, bringing Derek down to 12. Alright, Derek plays a second Mutavault, taps it to play the Elixir of Immortality, which for 2 mana he can crack, gain 5 life, and shuffle his graveyard back into his library. Oh, here Derek shows us his hand. He's got, looks like 2 or 3 Supreme Verdicts. He's missing the second white source of mana. Alright, Brandon swings in for 6. Bringing Derek down to 6. And then Derek cracks the Elixir, which gives him 5 life, so he's back up to 11. Alright, Derek's tapping his deck, hoping for a white mana source, and he got it. He lays it down quickly, and here comes the Supreme Verdict. Unfortunately, I think he tapped his mana wrong. Alright, wipes the field of Brandon's creatures. And here comes Chandra's Phoenix. Comes out with haste. Swings in the air for 2 damage, bringing Derek down to 9. We know Derek has the second Supreme Verdict. He's probably debating if he wants to waste it on 1 creature or save it. So he passes turn, hopefully letting Brandon commit more creatures to the board. Brandon plays down the Fanatic Mogus, which deals damage equal to his devotion to red, which at this point is 3. 2 from the Phoenix and 1 from the Fanatic himself. That burns Derek, brings him down to 6 life. 2 more damage in the air from the Phoenix, bringing him down to 4. Looks like Derek Sphinx's Rev for 2, gains 2 life, draws 2 cards. Alright, he lays down an island. And passes turn. And Brandon does have lethal on board, so we figure Derek has some tricks up his sleeve. Derek taps 1 mana for Quicken, lets him draw a card, and then casts sorceries as instants, which we know he has that second Supreme Verdict, which he then casts, wiping the board. Brandon follows it up with a Rakdos Cackler Unleashed. Alright, Derek lays down the Hallowed Fountain tapped. Alright, Derek taps 4 mana, brings out Jace, Architect of Thought. And then pluses him up, which will reduce the attack of attacking creatures by 1. So the Cackler could only swing in for 1 damage. Brandon burns Derek with a Lightning Strike, dealing 3 damage, bringing him down to 3 life. Alright, another Phoenix comes out. So Brandon casts the Lightning Strike, which then allows him to get the Phoenix out of his graveyard. Comes back to the hand and he recasts it. Derek is sitting with 2 mana open. Brandon's probably trying to assess what he thinks he has. So he swings in for 4. Derek triggers Jace, which reduces the attack to only 2 damage. Derek's deliberating. Taps 2 mana for an Azorius Charm, which puts the attacking creature back on top of Brandon's library. So he puts the Cackler back on top. And then takes 1 damage from the Phoenix. Down to 2 life, barely hanging on. Alright, Derek minuses Jace, revealing top 3 cards. Looks like he's got an Azorius Charm, Syncopate, and a Temple of Silence. Brandon tells him which ones to separate it into, 2 piles. Azorius Charm, and then the land and Syncopate. Alright, looks like Derek takes the Syncopate and the land, putting the Azorius Charm on the bottom of his deck. Plays the Temple of Silence, scries his next card, and decides to ship that to the bottom. Oh, looks like he got another elixir out. So he will be able to buy himself some more life. So Brandon swings in with Phoenix. Derek cracks the elixir, gaining 5 life. But then takes 2 from the Phoenix, bringing him back down to 3.
No, you can't crack it. I attack. You crack it. I respond with a burn stuff.
Oh, yeah, I'm not worried about that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I knew it was in your hand. But you also know you did the counters.
I had a hard counter now.
Alright, let's see. So you're hitting me for hitting me or just
Yeah.
I'll take it.
You did, and I had like sound effect, tap it, fix this,
Card in here.
Travis, fix this.
Orange.
Wait, did you big fix this, or?
What's your mana count after that?
5 land on top.
That's fine.
Go ahead.
All right, Brandon brings out a Rakdos Cackler.
Stop calling all one names. Yes, I did. I'm a mother. I've got ears like an elephant. Yeah.
She likes it.
I love it.
She's seen the good side of it when we have not.
I guess that's... Owen used to be an ass captain, but now he's a good dude. Used to be.
So many choices of mana, Derek has to figure out the best way to tap it.
That's probably not going to happen.
All right, so he Supreme Verdicts again, wiping Brandon's field. And minus his Jace again. Gets a Doomblade, Azorius Charm,
You made that to do
and I think it was a Quicken.
Probably longer than you thought already, huh?
Doomblade and the rest.
Doomblade and the rest. Okay, right, sure.
Too late.
So I think Derek's deck is mostly blue-white control, splashing black for the Doomblades,
Doomblade to the bottom.
which he ships to the bottom.
Do you have something that can stop anybody from killing you?
Drop.
You can kill yourself.
Passes turn.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna kill you. No, you're not. I'm gonna kill
Go
myself.
ahead.
You done?
All right, Brandon draws his card and passes turn. Back to Derek.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Scry.
Derek lays down the Temple of Enlightenment and scries. Leaves it on top. Pluses up Jace.
We place their avatar, and if someone wants to grizzly or kill him, we get grizzly spectacle.
And passes turn.
Go ahead.
No, you guys take 6 money. Oh wait. What's your mic?
It's fun, man.
All right, Brandon draws. It passes back to Derek. All right, looks like Derek pluses up Jace. And then taps 5.
Okay.
No, 6 mana for Elspeth.
Yeah, no one's. Yeah, I got rid of it.
Card in here.
Pluses her up and puts 3 1/1 soldiers onto the field,
And then your turn. Turn one token.
giving Brandon a target for Searing Blood.
You take
So it deals 2 damage to a creature, and then if that creature dies, 3 damage to its controller. So Derek is now down to 2.
You give my Phoenix back.
That also gets the Phoenix out of his graveyard, back to his hand.
Yep. We're gonna draft.
I couldn't block any of them anyway. Oh, I could with my hand, but I would have killed him anyway.
All right, Brandon lays down a Mutavault.
I wasn't gonna block with him.
and cast his Phoenix.
2 mana, 3 mana, and a mana.
I've been gaining double life the whole time.
Swings. Derek triggers Jace, which reduces his damage to only 1 from the Phoenix. Derek is at 1 life, barely hanging on. And he casts Quicken to draw a card at Brandon's instep.
I'm counting all.
Alright, looks like he pluses up Jace again.
You said you're boosting it by 8?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
And then puts a detention sphere on the Phoenix. Pluses up Elspeth. Gets 3 more soldiers.
Wait, I already lost my gun.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen it pretty fast. This is
Derek has to play this very carefully, knowing that Brandon has access to lots of burn in his deck.
yeah, when I was watching pretty cool, it was like how they were like down so low.
Wait,
Alright, he passes turn. Brandon cast Burning Tree Emissary.
That was, I like that. Where it is now.
I don't get double life, but I gain 2 life.
I feel like I just.
Go ahead.
I know how to use this game. Oh, is this still game one?
What's Elspeth?
+2/+2 of mine.
I mean, how much is it?
7. I don't even, I might even.
Take 2.
It lets you get a turn.
No, it hasn't.
You want to carry to
No, you tapped him down. He almost took it out.
I'm very sure.
Alright, looks like he doesn't have any thing to follow up the Burning Tree, so passes turn to Derek.
And you're at 26.
Alright, Derek pluses up Jace. Pluses up Elspeth. Gets 3 more soldiers. And passes turn. Alright, Brandon brings out Ash Zealot. And then swings with the Burning Tree and Ash Zealot, which Derek blocked with 2 of the soldiers.
Gonna pay into this.
Go ahead. Yep, go ahead.
All right, looks like Derek cast a Sphinx's Revelation for 2.
Three.
Being very conservative with his mana.
Control that everybody expected,
Lays down a Godless Shrine.
So I can put it to almost 28 1/1 counters. 2 at a time. So
Pluses up the Planeswalkers.
14 2/2 counters.
Bringing Elspeth very close to being able to ultimate.
22, I can put a 1/1 counter for each slot. I can pay up to 28.
Me too, whoever said that.
It's been a long day. For sure.
I had a taco for breakfast at noon.
What do you have? Yeah, right.
Taco and a coffee.
And passes turn.
Derek's at 3.
All right, Brandon activates Mutavault and then swings with the Burning Tree and Assail. Derek will Azorius Charm the Mutavault. And then uses 2 of the soldiers to block the Emissary and Zealot.
This right here is 29, and then you'll only.
How many turns? That's 5.
Do you have anything to get rid of
We've got 5.
enchantments?
Brandon cast the Fanatic of Mogus, hoping to burn Derek. Derek syncopates that for 3,
Got him to 1.
which Brandon cannot pay. And knowing that Elspeth can ultimate next turn, Brandon go ahead and moves on to game 2. All right, so we got the first turn Cackler coming out for Brandon. Derek leads off again with the Hallowed Fountain coming in tapped. Cackler gets in for 2 damage, bringing Derek down to 18. Brandon cast a Fire Drinker Satyr and another Fire Drinker Satyr. Putting 6 damage coming in next turn. Alright, Derek lays down an island, passes turn.
I beg to differ. It's kind of painful.
Alright, swings in at the team. Derek is able to Azorius Charm the Cackler back to the top of Brandon's library. And Brandon brings out Boris Reckoner.
I was swinging top flyers. I was swinging at him. I was swinging. No, I never swung at Tony. I was swinging at these 2. I only swing at him.
Derek is able to Detention Sphere the 2 Fire Drinkers.
Yeah, I don't think I really swung at anyone until the end when everyone started getting
Alright, Brandon swings in with the Reckoner. bringing Derek down to 11.
Elimination.
Brings back the Cackler, unleashed. And passes turn.
How do you spell face this?
Alright, Hallowed Fountain comes in tapped. Derek is able to Detention Sphere the Reckoner, leaving Brandon only with one Rakdos Cackler,
Take two.
which he swings in with, bringing Derek down to 9. Brandon lays down the Hammer of Perforus. Gives all of his creatures haste. You can pay 3 mana, sacrifice a land, and bring out a 3/3. Derek lays down a Temple of Enlightenment. Scries his card to the bottom. And passes turn.
Drop. Half star.
Brandon taps 2 for a Ash Zealot, which Derek is able to dissolve.
Cards in hand.
Derek gets a Scry and ships that card to the bottom.
I'll save the rest of my room to make it 3.
And Brandon is tapping 3, sacking a land, and making a 3/3 Golem with a hammer. And then swings in for 5 with the Cackler, bringing Derek down to 4.
So 5 down to 4.
Alright, Derek plays an island. Plains.
That's very
I'm a Star Wars fan.
That's Star Wars. We've used that before.
I can't.
That-
There, Brandon's being offered some shiny Star Wars cards for his Golem.
Wait, you can do accessibility whenever you want.
Or even better yet, the Death Star.
I'm going to spare you on a condition.
6 mana.
I want you to save pictures for the end of this turn.
Alright, Brandon plays Fanatic of Mogus,
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. That's my
which would deal 4 damage to Derek.
Depending on what you get, I kind of want to take pictures. One picture open, you're at 82 life.
Looks like Derek has a response. Taps 2, playing Syncopate. Brandon can't pay 1, so his spell is countered.
That's a 1.
But then he swings in for 5 with the Golem and Cackler. And that's it. Derek didn't have any answers for that.
Thanks for
Alright, so red deck is able to be too fast for the control. So we are moving on to game 3. The nice thing about the game day tournaments is Wizards provides a really nice champion map for the winner. For Born of the Gods, it was a bunch of rampaging Minotaurs. Alright, so here we are in game 3. Derek leads off with the Godless Shrine. And looks like Brandon's playing turn 1 Cackler. Unleashed, of course.
We both had our blowout moments.
Derek plays a blue source.
Actually, mine was never a blowout. He was so far ahead, and then the Domri Emblem just saved him.
Yeah. Tommy Emblem does that.
Half star.
Brandon brings out the Ash Zealot, which Derek syncopates. And then Brandon swings in with the Rakdos Cackler, bringing Derek down to 18. Alright, the Mutavault comes out for Derek. Passes turn. Alright, Brandon swings in the Cackler. Derek is down to 16.
Or he doesn't care, which is probably
And follows it up by casting Firefish Striker. And then is one last mana for the Fire Drinker Satyr.
Are they all?
Alright, second Meteor Vault joins Derek's team. And he passes turn.
Draw.
Alright, Brandon swings in with all three creatures.
Yeah.
Derek Doomblades the Fire Drinker.
So how many?
For 4 blockers.
Activates Meteor Vault.
We're gonna lightning strike the name up.
Brandon lightning strikes the Meteor Vault.
Go ahead.
So 4 damage gets through, bringing Derek down to 12 life.
How much is increasing vengeance? Or versus fiction?
Alright, Derek plays Jace, the Architect of Thought. And it looks like he minuses him right off the bat. Most likely searching for a second white mana source.
Yeah, dissolve it. Yep.
Well, he takes the 2 lands, so his hand might have been light on lands.
See if it works out.
Thank you. That was perfect.
3 turns?
Alright, so the Phoenix comes out,
Jace, 2 no leave.
and it looks like the Phoenix is going after Jace, taking him out, and then 4 damage to Derek.
Trying to get my attention. Like, what's up?
If Derek had plus Jace there, he would have only taken a total of 3, and I don't think his creatures could have killed Jace. But when you're going against red, you need to be able to hit that Supreme Verdict as soon and as often as possible. Alright, so you cast a Detention Sphere on the Phoenix.
I thought he swung 20.
Phoenix. Attack you for 6.
And Brandon follows it up with a second one. Swinging in for 6.
Well, he doesn't have any.
Brings Derek down to 2.
This is not a favor. He doesn't have anything in that. Oh, this gives minus 1. Wait, target creature? Target creature.
And I can't see Derek's hand, so I don't know if he has a verdict or not, but
We'll eat it. I mean, pretty good get down. I am upset that he didn't do. But he didn't get anything.
alright, Derek passes turn.
You don't have double white. So
I'm sorry?
you don't have double white. That's that.
All right, Brandon brings out the Ash Zealot, and Derek extends the hand. All right, so that was it. Brandon was able to come back after the game being controlled game 1 with 2 quick game 2s and 3s, able to get in enough damage before Derek was able to control the field enough and gain enough life to. All right, so Brandon is our game day Board of the Gods game day champion. So we appreciate everybody watching. If you like the videos and want to see more, please like and share as much as possible. And once again, this is Josh Fozzard for Grapple Games TV. We'll see you next time.